One Zambia, One Nation, welcome to this edition of ZANIS News. We are coming to you from the mass media complex in Lusaka. Here are the details. German injects 10 million euros in Zambia's water sector. Government to set up a smartphone factory. Monze District Commissioner calls for correction of anomalies on FISIP program. And 90 days voluntary medical male circumcision campaign launched. One Zambia, One Nation, with the news in detail. My name is Amos Zulu. The German government has financed a grant to Zambia amounting to 10 million euros in the water sector. Visiting German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier witnessed a signing ceremony which took place in Livingstone, while Minister of Water Development and Sanitation Mike Mposha witnessed the event on behalf of the Zambian government. Mwangala Kapandula is in Livingstone and now reports.
The German government has financed a grant to Zambia amounting to 10 million euros in the water sector. Visiting German President Frank Steinmeier witnessed the signing ceremony which took place in Livingstone today, while Minister of Water Development and Sanitation Mike Mposha witnessed the event on behalf of the Zambian government.
The support that your government has been providing to various projects, in particular the current ongoing projects in our water sector. Your Excellency, I will be failing in my duties if I did not emphasize our appreciation to your support in the water sector. And currently we have around 11 ongoing projects amounting roughly to about 216 million euros.
The project is important as it comes at a time when the rainfall patterns have been affected by climate change. Earlier, farmers in the area briefed President Steinmeier on smart agriculture.
We can sink a borehole, it will yield water. We can dig a shallow well, we shall have water. And that water that we can get from here can be used now smartly to be used efficiently and produce vegetables, produce other crops.
In line with climate change adaptation, we've taught farmers in efficient water using horticulture. And the best way of doing this is through an irrigation and a drip irrigation system as well as smart agriculture. But here in Zambia, Your Excellency, an irrigation system, it's quite expensive. So in our training, we introduced this simple bucket drip irrigation. So this drip irrigation you are seeing here, it's very affordable and it's very easy to operate.
Earlier, President Steinmeier toured the Southern Water and Sanitation Company, Zambezi Rainwater Intake. The president concluded his visit to Zambia on a lighter note as he toured Mosotunya National Park and the Victoria Falls. For ZANIS News, Mwangala Kapandula reporting in Livingstone, Southern Province.
And government has called on African leaders to engage in public-private partnerships in promoting food and nutrition security in Africa. Speaking during the close of the 14th Africa Day for Food and Nutrition Security Summit, Secretary to Cabinet Patrick Kangwa observed the key role that the private sector holds in ensuring food security on the African continent. Here is the rest of the story by Miles Kabengo.
After 4 days of deliberations on food and nutrition security in Africa by various representatives from across Africa and beyond, the 14th Africa Day for Food and Nutrition Security Summit, ADFNS, has come to an end. The gathering was also a commemoration of the 19th Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program, CADA Partnerships Platform. The African Union Development Agency highlighted the outcome of the event.
It's a message and recent research to propel Africa forward. The need to prioritize research in agriculture was underlined, highlighting its role in driving innovation, sustainable farming practices, and informed policy making. Calls were made for increased investment in agricultural research to address challenges and advance Africa's agricultural landscape. The seventh message, embracing technology, including artificial intelligence, for Africa's transformation agenda. Discussions highlighted the pivotal role of technology, including artificial intelligence, in Africa's transformation. Participants stressed the need to adapt and harness technological advancements to revolutionize farming practices, increase productivity, and bolster the continent's competitive edge in global markets. The eighth point, linking Africa's production systems to processing and value chain.
Over these 4 days, under the theme accelerating the implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement in the context of the CAADP commitment on ending hunger by 2025, we engaged in a wide range of discussions. We had the Malawi Policy event, the 5 thematic sessions, and 12 side events covering diverse aspects. We reflected on CAADP's journey over the last 2 decades, explored science, innovation, and research, delved into issues of financing agri-food systems and nutrition through private sector engagement, and examined the synergy between CAADP implementation as well as the Africa Continental Free Trade Area.
And Secretary to Cabinet Patrick Kangwa called for investment in research and technology for the enhancement of agriculture production in African countries.
If we are to attain food and nutrition security, we must therefore invest in science and technology to enhance their productivity. We must also ensure that we provide affordable credit to support our small-scale farmers who are actually feeding our countries. Distinguished delegates, the role of the private sector is cardinal to ensure that we are food and nutrition secure. The private sector is the engine of growth. We therefore need to engage in public-private partnerships and joint ventures, as well as promote inter-regional trade.
Cooperating partners shared their views on shaping the agenda for food and nutrition security in Africa.
Creating a neighboring environment is critical to ensuring that we have supply of safe, affordable, and nutritious food. And if we are to effectively implement the Africa Continental Free Trade Area and deal with the issue of food and nutrition and level security on our continent, we need to work together.
The way forward, ensuring agricultural transformation in Africa and prosperity to its people. The TPG expresses its satisfaction with the partnership that we have developed over the past decades, and with the mutual accountability and benefits for the good of the people that we serve.
The summit was held under the theme Accelerating the Implementation of African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement in the context of Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program CAADP commitment for safer and healthier diets. Miles Kavingo for ZANIS in Lusaka.
Western Province Veterinary Officer Stephen Tembo has disclosed that anthrax has claimed 31 heads of cattle in 5 districts within the province. Dr. Tembo has since cautioned the public from consuming uncertified meat products. Darlington Kabambe now reports.
Anthrax outbreak has killed 31 heads of cattle in 5 districts of Western Province. Western Province Veterinary Officer Dr. Stephen Tembo said this in an interview with ZANIS with a word of caution to beef eaters to avoid eating uncertified meat products in the province.
I wish to confirm that the province has recorded cases of anthrax in 5 districts, namely Mongu, Nalolo, Senanga, Sioma, and Sesheke districts. We have 11 cases and mortalities in Nalolo, while Mongu recorded 1 case, Senanga 3 as of yesterday, and in Sioma we had 11 cases, while in Sesheke we recorded 5 cases in cattle, 1 in goat that succumbed to the disease, and dogs. I wish to urge them to consume beef from designated outlets, and the members of the public are urged to ensure that they ask for a certificate of inspection in these butcheries where they are buying this meat. They have the right to ask for that. It's a sign that the carcasses or beef has been inspected and has been certified to be wholesome and fit for human consumption.
And some Mongo residents talked to by ZANIS expressed their views.
Nieleza babamu babale kisasinana kuli lutokomele kwa kuleka manamaka kuli kokumuka na kuvizwa kwa mvulo zikuwe fumana kuikisi kwa msesi ishwezi unanikuba ni mamela ya kuli lusikelwa iteka kela fiasi leke luswanila kuleka hande kwa mabata kuli ni doctors bali babali 10 kwa 10 bami bakuye na maye itatubilwe myai na butuku bobutwalo kumaso kuli lwiteka kelefa kuli lukono kuyambukisa maneni luna bankasibiri lwakona kuyambukya ni mabasi alu nakafe alu ayambukiseza
ni pila elo yetu na hulu kwa mana kabutuku wa luvete kono kubonala kuli bamuso kambe kintu ekona lalo bakupa kuli baye mwali bakazeswa nangeze mwa mishitu kwa kusinama radio kwa safiti kuli bazama enge baluta babasikabu ziba butuku wa luvete mwabukona kufeza sichaba.
Reporting Darlington Kabambe in Mongo district of Western Province.
Minister of Technology and Science Felix Mutati says government plans to set up a smartphone factory in Zambia by June next year in order to reduce the cost of smartphones. Mr. Mutati says access to affordable smartphones will reduce financial literacy. He said this during the 10th edition of the Africa FinTech Summit being held in Lusaka.
The increasing use of digital financial services has contributed to low financial literacy in Zambia. This is because the majority of people cannot afford to purchase smartphones, which are an important gadget in accessing digital financial services. Government is alive to these concerns and has since devised a solution. Speaking at the 10th edition of the Africa Financial Technology Summit in Chongwe, Minister of Technology and Science Felix Mutati says government will set up a smartphone factory to produce affordable smartphones to the general public.
I think that one of the barriers to access is the cost of smartphones. And when we met last week in Rwanda with colleague ministers, every minister was breaking their head, how can they sort out this issue of cost of smartphones? A couple of days ago, my brother minister from Kenya said, I have opened a smartphone factory. So that is one of the options. So yours truly, Zambia has also through HH secured a transaction that by June next year, we shall also deliver a plant where we shall make smartphones.
Mr. Mutati also disclosed that government has set aside 16 million kwacha for grants for upcoming financial technology companies that need financial support.
I can tell you we have many ripe fintechs in here, but we also have some that are being born. Some in the process are struggling. And the role of government is to be able to support those that are struggling. That's why we have provided
government resource to the extent of 16 million kwacha by way of grants to support our boys and girls in order to find the digital legs that they need to work.
And Bank of Zambia governor has called for concerted efforts to fight against cybercrime.
While a lot of progress has been made, there are still some challenges that we must address to fully exploit the potential of fintech. Some of these are cybersecurity and fraud, which I'm sure you are all alive to, and I expect that during this conference there will be some discussions around this subject. This is one thread we must join hands. It's not something that it can be fought alone. It requires concerted and collaborative effort.
The summit is aimed at building capacity in the financial technology sector. Reporting for ZANIS in Chongwe, Sharon Walia.
In health news, Chongwe Member of Parliament, who is also Minister of Health, Sylvia Masebo, has launched a nationwide distribution of long-lasting insecticide-treated nets in the district to mark the national campaign against malaria. Under the campaign, 11.5 million mosquito nets are expected to be distributed to households in various communities with the aim of preventing and eliminating malaria in the country.
Malaria is one of the leading causes of mortality in Zambia, with 4 lives being lost to the disease on a daily basis. In a bid to eliminate the disease, government and its supporting partners are implementing a number of interventions, with the most prominent being the distribution of insecticide-treated mosquito nets and indoor rescue spraying. Speaking during the national launch of the mass distribution of insecticide-treated mosquito nets in Chongwe, Chongwe Member of Parliament Sylvia Masebo disclosed that the Ministry of Health will this year distribute over 11.5 million treated mosquito nets to households countrywide to protect people from malaria.
The Ministry of Health, through the National Malaria Elimination Center, supported by our partners, will be distributing over 11.5 million long-lasting insecticide-treated nets countrywide. We also intend to spray a total number of 895,266 eligible and targeted tractors.
Various stakeholders reaffirmed their commitment to supplementing government efforts in the fight against malaria.
Today, we reaffirm that partnership and our commitment to investing in malaria prevention and treatment tools, along with the training and equipping of health workers in order to advance Zambia's progress towards zero malaria.
I wish to reaffirm our commitment to support the government through the ministry, through partners, through communities, to implement key malaria interventions, including the nets, so that we as the people of Zambia will one day achieve our dream of having a malaria-free Zambia.
Residents in the district have equally commended the government and its supporting partners for extending the exercise to the area.
Inokondwera maningi kuli government kupasa wa mosquito net chifukwa ino time ya malaria tezelibe mosquito laki nga mosquito net so ndisokondwera maningi mulungu abadalisi wa government bapitilize malaria atu muno mu area obviously sasira just because ya mosquito net yanitafura.
The successful implementation of malaria intervention programs is expected to completely eliminate the disease that has claimed many lives by 2030. Sheila Makosa, reporting for ZANIS in Chongwe District.
Still in health news, Springbok Investment has constructed a health post at Nyakatingi area in Shikabeta Chiefdom in Rufunsa District. Officiating at the handover ceremony, Rufunsa District Commissioner Richard Mabena commended the company for supplementing government in the provision of quality health care. Take a look.
There is dancing at Nyakatingi village in Shikabeta Chiefdom of Rufunsa District in Lusaka Province. These women are celebrating the handing over of this health post constructed by Springbok an investor in the chiefdom with the aim of bringing health services closer to the people. Rufunsa District Commissioner Richard Mabena, Chief Shikabeta, and the District Health Director Peter Kakonde are on hand to receive the facility. District Commissioner Richard Mabena is elated with the gesture by the investor.
We see that as a government, we like private partnership development. And that's the reason why the president has been singing about private partnership. What you've done, the government was supposed to have done something, but you have helped the government by coming up with a health post here, which is a very good job. I clap for you.
Chief Shikabeta is equally happy with this development and called on the Minister of Health to quickly send staff to the facility.
It's our sincere hope that the government shall swiftly deploy qualified staff at this facility so that we could actualize the intended benefits to the community. Our women, children, and the men folk alike around this catchment area shall no longer have to walk long distances to access the health facility.
Rufunsa District Health Director Peter Kakonde is also happy with this development.
We are very thankful. I should underline for that. I just want to add a little bit of an appeal that as we build beautiful clinics and modern clinics like this, may it come with equipment so that as healthy we can provide our workers as quickly as possible so that operations can be almost immediate.
And Springbok President Adrian Erickson has pledged more for the people of Shikabeta Chiefdom.
This is a small thing of many things that we want to do in the future and have a good relationship with the Shikabeta community.
Reporting for ZANIS in Rufunsa District of Lusaka Province, I am Umsekiwa Ntembe.
Now, a police officer from Mufulira's Kansunswa police post has appeared before Mufulira Magistrate Court for allegedly having carnal knowledge of two juveniles aged 14 and 16 who were in police custody. The officer is alleged to have had carnal knowledge of the juveniles on 2nd July 2023, infecting one with syphilis.
A 16-year-old girl has told the Mufulira Magistrates Court that she was too scared to scream when a police officer attempted to have carnal knowledge of her in the inquiry's office at Kansuswa Police Post in Mufulira. This is in a matter where Brian Muyunda, a police officer at Kansuswa Police Post, is appearing before the Mufulira Magistrates Court for allegedly having carnal knowledge of two juveniles aged 14 and 16 years old who were in police custody for loitering. The 16-year-old juvenile testified that on 2nd July 2023, Muyunda attempted to have carnal knowledge of her in the inquiry's office but failed to penetrate, leading him to abandon the act. Earlier, the 14-year-old victim narrated that on the night of 2nd July 2023, she had developed stomach pains while in custody, which prompted Muyunda, the officer on duty, to take her to Kansuswa Clinic for a medical checkup. She said once the two came back to the police post, Muyunda demanded to have carnal knowledge of her as a condition to release her and her friend from custody. The juvenile said the police officer then proceeded to have carnal knowledge of her in the inquiry's office, threatening to beat her if she screamed. The 14-year-old girl revealed that she had contracted syphilis from the encounter. Meanwhile, Mufulira Magistrates Court resident magistrate George Mulenga granted the accused police officer bail of 20,000 kwacha with 2 working sureties. Magistrate Mulenga said there was no risk of Muyunda interfering with witnesses, as the juveniles, who are the key witnesses, had already given their statements. Recha Chisulo, reporting for ZANIS in Mufulira.
Monze District Commissioner Mwanza Malambo has directed the Department of Agriculture to correct all the anomalies on the Farmer Input Support Program, FISP, to ensure only bona fide small-scale farmers benefit under the program. Mr. Malambo said this after the verification exercise in Momba constituency, where findings indicated gross breach of FISP guidelines by camp agricultural committees who allegedly selected ineligible beneficiaries in some camps.
Government has found some abnormalities in the manner beneficiaries of the Farmer Input Support Program FISIP were selected by camp agriculture committees in Monze District. Monze District Commissioner Mwanza Malambo wants the situation to be corrected as soon as possible.
The government has realized and seen that there are quite a number of anomalies. One of them, you find that, you see, one household, you'll find a lot of people, the husband, the wife gets into another cooperative, the son goes elsewhere. As a result, you find they come with a lot of packs. As a result, you find other people are denied over what they're supposed to get. Two, these cooperatives, I think we are busy scrutinizing them to see exactly how they are, because you find some of them, it's called a cooperative, and yet it is purely a family cooperative. Then it's no longer existing as a cooperative. It is just purely a family issue. So these are some of the very major anomalies which we think as government they should be addressed, because that is directly robbing the government. In New Dawn government, we have clear guidelines as far as these cooperatives are concerned, as far as these parks are concerned, as far as the administration of FISIP is concerned.
Monze District Agriculture Coordinating Officer Justin Ngosa acknowledged the hiccups but pledged to ensure the FISIP guidelines were strictly adhered to going forward.
There was a departure from the established guidelines under the Farmer Input Support Programs by the camp agricultural committees, either out of negligence, one or two people will find themselves on the program, even when they are not supposed to be on the program. So the action that will be taken is that we ensure that all the culprits, the people that are illegally on the program, are removed from the Farmer Input Support Program beginning this season, whether they've deposited their 400 kwacha contribution or not.
Meanwhile, cattle farmers in Monze district have called on the government to quickly distribute vaccines to protect their animals against anthrax. Frederick Macha reporting for ZANIS in Monze district, Southern Province.
In other news, Minister of Tourism Rodney Sikumba has commended the International Fund for Animal Welfare for its continued support towards Zambia's wildlife conservation efforts, which has resulted in sustained positive biodiversity outcomes. Here are the details.
Lukusuzi National Park in Lumezi district of Eastern Province has attracted the attention of Zambia's cooperating partner, the International Fund for Animal Welfare. The organization has handed over 5 houses to the Department of National Parks and Wildlife, 3 motor vehicles, motorbikes, and 20 bicycles that will help in mitigating human-animal conflict in the area.
But we work through partners, and specifically governments and communities. And our work involves rescue, rehabilitation, and release of individual animals, as well as restoring and conserving their natural habitats. The IFO aims to deepen the partnership with the DNW in the long term. So we are not here for the short term, but we hope that we can continue to work together on those areas that DNW and the government of Zambia identifies as critical areas that they need our intervention in.
And Eastern Province Permanent Secretary, Paul Tole, who represented the Minister of Tourism, Rodney Sikumba, thanked the organization for the support.
Concern of the human-animal conflict, that as we go into our farming season, bameneti enda kukale maromba, chimene chiti vutirapo, nizinyama zimene zinabwera kukasungu, zimene zimadya, vakudya bameneti malimba. Analupemba chitetezo, chitandizo, And they were quite categorical. They said you can best assist us by providing the wildlife officers with the means to move and patrol the different kingdoms of chiefdoms as well as districts to ensure that these animals do not destroy their fields.
And the Department of National Parks and Wildlife outlines the support it has been receiving from IFO.
Has built 6 houses at Chikomeni Camp, all of which are camps from the National Park. We as wildlife officers are very grateful. With the attainment of the above, park integrity is slowly being installed. Amongst the most important needs has been for housing units for field officers working in the park, most of the times under difficult conditions. Therefore, the construction of standard housing units remains one of the major focus for the department, so that officers can operate with a settled mind that their families are safe and secure whilst they are out on field operations.
Meanwhile, Chief Chikomeni has thanked the organization for supporting community engagement in the management of wildlife in the area.
I stand here and proudly announce that Chikomeni Chiefdom is a conserving chiefdom. Together, we are working with so many stakeholders like IFO. We believe that there can never be proper conservation of the local natural resources without the participation of the local people themselves.
The International Organization for Animal Welfare has been supporting Zambia, Malawi, Zimbabwe, South Africa and Kenya in wildlife conservation through provision of infrastructure, equipment and training. Sylvester Chimba in Lumezi District.
We continue with the news. Mwinilunga constituency member of parliament, Newton Samakai, has noted that the Kawiko water project being implemented by Northwestern Water Supply and Sanitation Company will provide a permanent solution to the water challenges in the district. Mr. Samakai made the remarks when he inspected works at the water project. Amos Kawisha now reports.
Residents of Kawiku Ward in Mununga district have had no access to clean and safe drinking water. People here used to cover long distances just to get the commodity. Well, this will soon be history as Northwestern Water Supply and Sanitation Company has erected a 300 cubic meter water system in the area. Earlier Member of Parliament Newton Samakai visits the project site and is impressed with the developments here.
We're very grateful to the government of the Republic of Zambia to look into the problems of the people as far as water is concerned. The project is going to supply water to about 1,200 people. This will help enhance development in this area.
The contractor, Lenman Investment Limited, says the project is ready for handover this November.
Behind me there's a water tank, a 300 cubic meter tank, which will be supplying water to the whole area of Kawiku. We've already done the pumps at the waterworks, which are specifically assigned for bringing water to this tank in Kawiku.
The total cost of this project is about 12.7 million. It was supposed to run for about 1 year. But there has been some extension due to some other circumstances. The contractor is supposed to hand over on 13th of November.
Council Secretary Gift Kakoma says the water project will encourage people in the area to develop their plots.
This is a project that has come at the right time, in that this same area that is marked for supply of water was planned a long time ago and the plots were allocated to individuals. There has been that hesitance in terms of developing the area, in that they were giving the reason of not having water.
The 12 million kwacha project will supply clean piped water to over 800 households and public facilities. Amos Kawisha reporting for ZANIS in Mwinilunga district and Northwestern Province.
Still in Northwestern Province, government has started holding countrywide consultations to review social protection implementation strategies. This comes in the wake of rising poverty levels in the country according to the 2022 Living Conditions Survey. Victor Mwila reports that the initiative seeks to bring together government agencies and stakeholders from various sectors to enhance social protection efforts and reduce poverty among the most vulnerable countrywide.
Zambia is experiencing rising poverty levels according to the 2022 Living Conditions Survey. The government is now looking at revising the country's social protection strategy. Consultations aimed at creating a unified and efficient social protection system that will help address rising poverty levels are taking place countrywide.
We would like to get feedback on what works well in coordination and what has been the biggest challenge, but also to get comments on the draft social protection coordination strategy that we are developing to see how we can best refine it so that it addresses all salient issues that will improve coordination in the delivery of social protection interventions.
Meetings with government agencies and members of communities are going on in at least 2 districts and regional centre of each province countrywide.
We feel proud that as Ikeleng district, we have been engaged so that we are part and parcel of the final document on the coordination strategy on how we are going to work together. At the district, we have to build the synergies, especially among the line ministries, among the key stakeholders. We have to learn to support one another.
The Ministry of Community Development will compile feedback from these consultations to inform policy on effective social protection strategy. Victor Mwila for ZANIS in Ikelenyi, Northwestern Province.
Also in the news, Chadiza Town Council has completed and handed over the construction of public toilets at the new Chadiza market at a cost of over 250,000 kwacha. The traders have expressed delight that the toilets will improve the sanitation at the trading place by ending open defecation, which was commonly practiced. Here's Jubel Zulu with the report.
Barely a week has passed since marketeers complained of not having an ablution block in Chadiza market for over 2 years. This has prompted the council to swiftly move in and finally open the toilets for public usage.
The construction of the ablution block at Chadiza market was started in 2021 with an allocation, total allocation of 265,694. And so far, we've spent 256,490 on the project. From today, the ablution block is open through to next week, Monday, when it will be officially open to the public, and it is free of charge.
Happiness and satisfaction on this progressive decision is overwhelming.
2 years after president 2 years yose zongochitira tape pasi sapa namvera musho kuti asekura toilet kuno yakasi
toilet nangu yolipira koma at least kai vanthu ezoniera mu plastic mu vikopo koma patamvera bwino kuti mwasekula chani toilet sitingaleko using ngati zamboenda kuti poti ndiye toilet yamene mwatifakira kuti izeta vanthu tizithandizika nayo.
The district administration is thankful to government as it was funded through capital project funds.
Finally, we have an ablution block that has been done. This project has been outstanding for the past 2 years, meaning for the past 2 years, our people have had no facility where to answer the call of nature. And now that this has been done through the capital projects component of the Equalization Fund of Chadiza Town Council, we are very grateful and happy, especially that for now, since there are still very minor works to be done, the council has allowed, this is a very great milestone for men and women who had completely no facility for this purpose.
Jubel Zulu, ZANIS, Chadiza District, Eastern Province.
The Catholic Women League from St. Francis Parish in Mbala has donated 31 blankets and 11 bedsheets to Mbala General Hospital as part of the organization's 50 years of existence. Organization chairperson Martha Ziambo, who handed over the materials to the hospital, says the church has a role to identify the needs in communities and assist in every way possible. Lewis Mwaba covered the donation and gives us more in this report.
These are members of the Catholic Women League from St. Francis Xavier Parish in Mbala. They have gathered here to celebrate their 50 years of their existence, and to commemorate this milestone, the group has decided to donate linen to Mbala General Hospital.
Tulese fya jubili Yesu ifumwa tumona tuwaingira nensanso kwisa
ukwisasalanga nyensansa kuba nensu abalejula mupatala yamona mupatala nga tuwafika kutulasangwako ubwafya kufimbana n'obwakulalako kanshi ifo ekyo twabomba lero nga ba Catholic Women's League kapali nangu kimwe ekyo twabomba kifumine kufyo tushibomba ifwe tulebomba fye ekyo twalaya na Catholic Women's League charity work loyalty kanshi lero tulefikirisha ekirayo kya charity kyakweba ati twabana okula bomba emirimu yakitemuko atukwata ama blankets 31 elo natukwata nama pairs of bed sheets nayo yaiti 11 mukwai kuno twafika kuno mukwai tuleti kabapokelele akabupekesu akanono mukwai.
The hospital administrator is grateful to the lay group.
Bansansa sana pakupokelera ubupe buli mukwai. Ekinkafe kyakutira ati palino on average mu hospital tukwata abalwere 110 tuli bansansa sana okumona okutira ati palire empendo tukwete sofa ati sina mutulungi takona yambe mkwaite pakulekeresha hiyo.
And St. Francis Xavier great teacher Maboma spreaded with the organization commitment to supporting the vulnerable.
Some of the acts of charity yakusakamana ababudirwa yakusakamana abalechula bantu mukubchitefi bapempula nechipatala chonse bapempula abalwele baba chefi shako ubuchushi in one way or another edio kabidi babika nensansa pamenso yabo.
Reporting Lewis Mwava in Imbara.
Finally in the news, Kalumbila District Health Office in Northwestern Province has successfully launched a 90 days voluntary medical male circumcision VMMC campaign targeting over 1,400 males. District Health Director Itulawami Isonga says the launch is aimed at creating demand for VMMC services and re-energizing the fight against the HIV pandemic.
A 90 days voluntary medical male circumcision VMMC campaign successfully launched in Kalumbila District. A launch aimed at driving demand for VMMC services integrated with other health services.
The core business of this gathering is to create demand for VMMC and also to regionalize the health system of us and also to promote HIV services. The guest of honor, you may wish to know that Kalumbila District in the last quarter of 2023, which is July to September, we have recorded 206 confirmed the new case of HIV. And it is for this reason that we need to work together in as much as possible to fight this HIV.
And Kalumbila District Commissioner Brenda Sankisa advises the gathering to adhere to the golden rules of HIV prevention.
In as much as male circumcision is deemed to reduce 50% chances of contracting HIV, it is important to note that for those circumcised should also adhere to the golden rules of prevention such as abstinence. You have to be faithful to your partner. You should also correctly and consistently use condoms.
Meanwhile, the community is happy with the program.
Twasanta pakwetuletea aino program wa wamisha yonkabye twaketekera kuwamba auno program wa wamisha usakulengira kukikisha bana betu kukikora kyakubura kuberura.
Shilika Chabalengula, ZANIS, Kalumbila, Northwestern Province.
That item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, here is a reminder of the top stories. German injects 10 million euros in Zambia's water sector. Government to set up a smartphone factory. Monse District Commissioner calls for correction of anomalies on FISIP program. And 90 days voluntary medical male circumcision campaign launched. We end the news just there. On behalf of the entire production team, my name is Amos Zulu. Enjoy the rest of the programming. Bye-bye.